Orange Democratic Movement Party on Tuesday, February 7th, released a statement after a section of its members dumped party leader Raila Odinga for President William Ruto. Communications Director Philip Etale alleged that the meeting did not come as a surprise, as their members, including Lang'ata Member of Parliament Felix Odiwuor, aka Jalango, were wooed for months. He said, and I quote, "The visit to State House by a section of ODM members of Parliament has not come as a surprise to the party and the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya movement. The party has been monitoring closely the behind-the-scenes activities involving some of them, and it was just the climax." The statement continued, "Since the victory of our party leader, the Honorable Raila Odinga, was stolen and the will of the people subverted, after the general election, some leaders elected to undermine the leadership of the party and chosen to go against the will of the people who elected them to positions they hold," Etale said. End of quote. In an attack on Ruto's Kenya Kwanza, Etale added that the government was spending money to bribe the opposition members to derail them from putting it under check and balance. He said, and I quote, 3 months ago, the Azimio la Umoja leadership began rallies to push for the reclamation of its victory from the hands of the illegitimate administration to provide the leadership Kenyans want, but all along, we knew the enemy will not sit pretty. The statement continued, "They have started spending plundered money to hoodwink some of our leaders to scuttle our activities. Such meetings are aimed at diverting Kenyans' attention from issues they face, ranging from the high cost of living, unbearable school fees for their children, and graft." End of quote. Etale also urged Raila's followers and the country to ignore the leaders who he argued was selfish. The veteran journalist claimed that Jalango and the other MPs only cared about themselves rather than the well-being of the millions of poor Kenyans. He said, and I quote, "We know that in the quest for legitimate leadership, some will fall by the wayside and some will be compromised, but the movement remains unstoppable. This is a people's movement aimed at defending the constitution of the land. History will judge harshly the leaders who want to betray Kenyans by accepting handouts to scuttle the movement." Migori Senator Eddie Gisheru Okech also condemned his colleagues who lamented sold the souls of the residents who campaigned and voted for them. Among the politicians who accompanied Jalango to State House were Mark Nyamita of Uriri, Tom Ojenda of Kisumu, Shakil Shabir, Independent Kisumu Town East, Karoli Omondi of Suba South, Elisha Odhiambo of Jem, Gideon Ochanda of Bondo.
Okay, ready? Very good.
Immediately after the State House meeting, Jalango reveals that he had met the head of state to discuss development projects in the Lang'ata constituency. The legislator said, and I quote, "I visited the president to follow up on the start date of affordable housing in Hira's ward," the first-term member of parliament stated. End of quote. In a later retracted tweet, State House, Nairobi, announced that the politicians had pledged their loyalty to work with the government. Of late, ODM leader Raila Odinga has been facing a political degradation by the ammunition of President William Ruto to scaffold his movement of resistance.
Hawawezi kutupeleka katika priorities zao. Kubali mchukue hii jukumu ya kung'ang'ana na hiyo mzee kutoka kwangu, mimi nikae na rais tusukume maendeleo. This country is not the animal farm.
For Maisha Prime, Maisha Television, Abishabi Jr.